5 things shocked me to the core in this past year. And when I tell you what the first one is, you'll think, how could anything be any worse? The first one was October 7th, 2023. We witnessed the most brutal, vicious terror on men, women, children, old people. We're not going to get into details. We all understand. We've never seen something like this in modern history in our lifetime. That was a tremendous shock. Listen to the numbers. According to Google, 1,400 Israelis were killed, 3,000 were injured, 200 plus hostages, which is 4,500. If you look at the percentages of the Israeli population and you calculated it to give us an idea of what this kind of an attack would be like on American soil, imagine if Canada or Mexico, one of our neighbors, had a gripe and had a reason that they felt that they need to hurt us. Look at the damage. It equals to 48,816 Americans killed, 104,751 injured, and 7,119 hostages taken by that country, a total of almost 160,000. Imagine somebody attacking us in America, causing this level of damage. That's what little tiny Israel, the size of New Jersey, basically, that's what they feel. That was a tremendous shock. That was the least of my shocks, because we know that the Palestinians hate us. This hatred is going back a very long time. You could try to unravel it any way you want. It's complex, complicated. It's been going back a long, long, long time. I knew that they hated us. But here's what hurt me more. Shock number 2. In America, Americans that we grew up with, watching the same TV shows and advertisements and everything that we grew up with together, a lot of Americans concluded that the sympathy of this October 7th attack goes to the Palestinians. Who would imagine that a terror attack happens to a civilized country, and these American people that are so similar, which I'll get to later, to this country, comes to the conclusion, wow, I feel so terrible for the Palestinians. How did they end up becoming the victim over here? You want to tell me that you cared about them beforehand. You want to tell me you don't like the plight. I got it. But October 7th is a day of shame for anybody that's human. But you're saying October 7th represents, oh yeah, I feel so bad for the Palestinian people. That's a tremendous shock. But then it got worse. There was sympathy for the Palestinians, but not for the Israelis? You want to have sympathy that Palestinian children are being killed? Makes a lot of sense. Innocent people in Gaza that are being bombarded. We can get into whose fault it is. I'm not talking about fault. I'm saying fact. I feel bad for any innocent people. I really do. I don't want any innocent people to die or get injured. It's horrible what these kids are living through. But how do you not also feel bad for the innocent victims and their families and Israel? And for how many tens of thousands of people who had to leave their homes? Imagine you can't live in Texas and 100,000 people have to move and live in hotels. There's no school, there's no work, there's no food. When this happened, nobody's talking about that from that side. So I was so shocked. You want to have sympathy for the Palestinian people that are getting bombarded. And if they didn't vote for Hamas and they don't believe in that mentality, then they're really stuck, really stuck. I feel terrible for them also. But why don't you feel bad for what Israel's going through? Next shock. All of a sudden, not only are there Americans in colleges and liberals who are Americans. I'm saying this because we're Americans. What happened to us? We're not confused like the EU and the European. We don't know what's moral. I don't know who's right, who's wrong, constantly not sure. Who's the terrorist? Who's the victim? Americans. We're the closest thing to Israel. Have you been there? If you take a typical Israeli, not religious, most of them are not religious. He lives exactly the same lifestyle and morals and ideals as a typical American. We don't want war in America. We don't want to bomb anybody. We don't want our kids being sent out to fight. We're not warmongers. We're not trying to take over nations. We don't have any agenda of converting people to our anything. We just want to live in peace. That's what Israel is. If Israel was the monster that they're saying Israel is, when they target a terrorist and unfortunately they kill civilians, which they try not to, and you think that's exactly the same moral equivalency as terrorists targeting a civilian without, that's it, everyone is the target. And you can't figure out who's right and who's wrong? It's unbelievable. It's such a shock to me. So tell me, I feel so bad for the Palestinian people. I feel so bad for the Israeli people. I will still be shocked because I look at things very differently, but okay. But you're not even sorry for the Israelis. You're sorry for the Palestinians. And next shock, all of a sudden, Hamas. What? Hamas is a terrorist organization according to America. According to America, where we live. And now they're saying that not only do we support the Palestinians and not support and feel bad for Israel, but now we are going to support the word Hamas, which is terror. Not just saying we support the Palestinian cause. We feel bad for the Palestinians. But now we're saying the Hamas are good guys. When did that happen? When did you ever have a normal, whether it's right-wing, left-wing, liberal, Republican, Democrat, say that an organization that is deemed as a terrorist organization is not? Now you disagree with the whole history. They're not terrorists. They're freedom fighters. What a shock. I'm not even talking about agree or disagree. 5 years ago, this would have been unbelievable if I would have told you that there would be people that in this type of situation would basically applaud what Hamas did. It's just absolutely incredible. But it gets worse. What could possibly be worse? All of a sudden, we're living here in America. I'm not in Israel. I wasn't attacked. I was here in America. I didn't decide what Israel should do. But all of a sudden, we're getting anti-Jew. Oh, for years, they said anti-Israel is not anti-Jew. We're against Israel, but we're nothing against the Jewish people. I mean, I'm an American, so I visit Israel. I'm Jewish like they're Jewish. How are we linked? And all of a sudden comes out the true colors of anti-Semitism. I cannot believe I grew up here. I'm here for a long time. Anti-Semitism? I haven't heard this in decades. And you're blaming me because I'm a Jew for what they do in Israel? How do you know? They didn't ask me what they should do. All of a sudden, we're linked. Those are the 5 shocking things. The shock of October 7th was unbelievable. It was very painful. Imagine 150,000 Americans being hurt like that. It would rock our country. And by the way, the response by any country would be to obliterate the enemy. Carpet bomb, kill. Every war that America did, if you look at the statistics, what did we do? How many innocent Japanese did we kill? How many innocent Germans did we kill? Who even tries to target specific terrorists who are hiding under schools and then gets criticized when really they could have just carpet bombed? And you're giving them the same criticism as if their policy would be the same as Hamas, where we don't care about killing civilians. And here, you criticize Israel, which does not have that policy, and you do not criticize Hamas, which does have that policy, where we want to take back, not Gaza, the whole entire Israel, and we want to win it back and kill every man, woman, and child in Israel and Jew. But here's the other shock. How come you don't realize whoever hates Israel in those countries, all those extremists, they hate Israel because it's democratic. They hate Israel because Israel is not going to become Muslim, Islam, whatever they want, that section, right? All these people, bad guys. They hate America also. Whoever hates Israel hates America. Now, just like you linked me, a Jewish person in America, to Israel, so when Israel goes ahead and bombs and God forbid, and I really mean that, 1,000 innocent people get killed and you're angry at Israel, you want to punch me, and I'm here in America, so too do they, all these evil people, bad people, they want to punch America the same as they want to punch Israel. And then we see craziness. Openly gay people who they would kill, who they say, come here, we will throw you off a building. You're marching for Palestine and Hamas. Who could believe such a thing? LGBTQ, the only place that you're free in the Middle East, pretty much, I'm talking about, there are some other places that maybe they won't kill you, but in Gaza, they will kill you. In Iran, all these places, Syria, hello, Israel has a gay parade just like New York City. You're free. You're free. It's a democratic country. And all they do is pray for peace. They don't want their children being killed. Every Israeli soldier, every Israeli civilian, every life in Israel counts. They really care about human life. And you're watching it the same way as I'm watching it. And you're concluding what? Israel doesn't care about human life. Israel targets nursery. You can't see past it. That they have to kill the terrorists and that America would do the same thing. Everybody knows that America would do much worse. Nobody would be as careful and lose as many soldiers as Israel. I can't even believe we're having this discussion. I can't believe that there are people that are on the other side and that are now bringing up Jew hatred. I got to tell you that I'm an Orthodox Jew, but I feel as American as anybody else. Besides my religion that I have, grew up in America. We watched the same shows. We went to the same ball games. There's no part of my religion. I never controlled the weather. Sorry, I never controlled the banks. They never asked me what to do with the interest rates, up or down. Just a regular person living in a free country, very thankful to be here. We pledged allegiance to the flag in my school, in my high school. But I feel even worse for our brothers and sisters, Jewish people who are not Orthodox, not keeping the Torah, not keeping Shabbat, not feeling Jewish at all. And now they're being targeted and hated for something that they didn't even realize that they identify with. It's like, oh, you're Jewish. And they're like, I feel so bad because they really even more feel like, no, I'm American. And here we're seeing this anti-Semitism come up. And it's justified because anything that Israel does is wrong. It's absolutely unbelievable. And there are people who get it and understand it clear, and there are people who don't get it. And their clarity is so muffled because it's horrible seeing. Yes, it's true. You know what I would conclude if I was Hamas and Palestinians? I would say, I think we messed with the wrong guy. If Israel is a bully that doesn't care about human life, maybe we should not, bomb them. Maybe we shouldn't plan attacks against them. Maybe we should just live in peace side by side. Now imagine this. What would happen if we took all the people in the Gaza Strip and we replaced them with all the people of New Jersey? Let's take a city or town, something the similar size. How about Canada? And we put Canadians there that think like we think, democratic, not with the terrorist mind of taking machine guns or fake machine guns, putting it into our children and saying, we will kill, without the whole caliphate thing, without the whole Islamic Republic thing, without ISIS, without the mentality of that we want everybody to either bow to Islam or be beheaded. No, in America, in Israel, we don't want you to be Jewish. We don't want you to be like us. We could be Catholic here in America, and you could be Muslim. We're cool with that. We don't have any reason. We don't want to take over the world. We don't want to take over the world. If America wanted to take over the world, we could. We could certainly conquer Mexico. Most of them are in America already. So we just go walk the other way and put Americans in Mexico, and we could take over Mexico. America does not do that. So if we're in a war, it's because we have to be. And those same people hate America. And Americans who understand that, or who don't, and they even doubt America, like, why do we have to defend this? And why do we need borders? And why? We're just flooding our ideas on our head. Where is this coming from? So what's the point? The point is that I'm shocked by October 7th, but I'm even more shocked by America, that in America, people who are our fellow Americans could turn on Israel, support Palestinians, not support Israel, all of a sudden support a terror organization. All of a sudden, all of these shockwaves are like, what? Where am I living? It's happening again. I thank all those voices of clarity out there that are Jewish or not Jewish, that are just trying to realize this whole thing is a very big mistake. We are the same as Israelis. We would be doing the same thing if what happened to Israel happened to us in America. So thankfully, there are some Americans that really understand this. But there are so many who just get like muffled and confused. And they're ready to believe that Israel has a huge jail and they put the Gazans there. If the Torontonians would have been given Gaza, today Gaza would be the top destination in the world. They got billions of dollars and they built an underground instead of the nicest hotels, like the nicest hotels in the world. Beachfront resort. They got it back 20 years ago. Israel didn't prevent them from doing anything. Well, Israel controls the gas and the electric, and Israel controls, and hold on. Why can't we see 2, 3 steps down? How much brains does it take to go 2 or 3 steps down? Israel never shut the electric until you started shooting rockets at us. Israel never shut down anything. They had to because there were arms going there, because the people running it were not peace-loving, American-style, Western-style, Israeli-style people, Canadian-style people, picking Canada just because they're our neighbors. You put any peace-loving people there and give them the billions of dollars, there would be nothing underground. There would be no missiles. And now there would be no deaths. There would be a new generation of Palestinians growing up in the richest land with that freedom to go into Israel. There would be no border checks. There would be nothing because we're all the same. You know, it would be like passport control between America and Canada. But if Canada starts shooting hundreds or thousands of missiles at America and starts digging tunnels underneath and stops taking care of their people and turns it into this, what it looked like before, where all the money's going underground because they want to attack and kill and take over America, and then they abduct 150,000 injured, kill, or hostage taking of 150,000 Americans, what do you think America's going to do? And then it's going to come in all the liberals with the moral not clarity and say, oh, this is terrible. It's not equal. They took 150 and you just killed 600,000. You can't do that. You could only kill the same amount that they kill you. It has to be equal. What? No, it doesn't. You try to hurt us, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you can never hurt us again. Every country is the same. So what's the difference? Israel and America and Canada are not looking to attack other countries. It's not anywhere in our minds to expand and take over countries. Everything that we do is to protect our own. That's it. The other guys are interested in killing. They're interested. They want to kill. They do not accept Israel as a land. But in America, we do. We agreed that Israel is entitled to their land. Okay, now we can talk about how come they're building settlements and if they should or they shouldn't. That doesn't mean that Israel's not legitimate. And it doesn't mean that they're murderers. And it doesn't mean that they're targeting civilians. And it doesn't mean that all the Jews are responsible for it. It's all of this is so warped. Try to unravel a little bit. You're saying that what Hamas did was okay because of their situation. Who caused that situation? 20 years of Hamas rule. If it would have been 20 years of Western ideology over there, none of this would ever happen. And there will be world peace. But there won't be world peace now because of Hezbollah, because of all these problems. And of course, when you attack a country and they're going to fight back, oh, you're killing our civilians. It's terrible. But don't mix up who's the aggressor and who's the victim. The hardest part, I think, was for the Jewish people who are not religious, and they can't understand we have nothing to do with this religion. And they're being reminded again and again and again, you're a Jew, and we hate you. Even here in America, we'll blame you. We'll blame you for what Israel did. We'll blame you for what Hamas did. We'll blame you for making them rape and murder and burn, and we'll deny and we'll twist. It's all your fault. Here we are once again. Welcome to the history of being a Jew. Every time we try to forget, God makes sure to remind us that wherever we are is not our home. And whatever we do is not really what we should be doing. We are God's chosen people, and every time we say, no, thanks, let's just become like everything every single time. God reminds us by having all the people around us hate us and eventually kill us or throw us out. It's a long history of the same thing. And that's why I'm shocked that it's happening now again in America.